Bentro Injue, and Anu Angeshi has been our sign language interpreter for this. We had Alensa Odingo earlier on, and now we are crossing over to Brian Kimani, as you can see on your set, hosting PS Public Works, Joel Arumonyang. Hello, Brian. Good morning.
Many thanks, Bentroy,
and I must admit a very exhilarating conversation here in Broadcasting House around drugs and substance abuse, and I hope that the authorities and the relevant agencies concerned are going to stem the tide which is threatening our societies. I mean, time now to shift our focus and of course now have a look at another critical industry that is a key socio-economic driver of the country's socio-economic development, and that is the construction industry. I mean, when you look at this industry, it's a major enabler of economic development, contributing about almost 6% to the country's annual GDP, and of course employing thousands of young people. And now with the government really getting into this critical sector through the affordable housing, where thousands of units are under construction, this is indeed going to be a key driver of socio-economic transformation in the Republic of Kenya. And that's where we are here at the coast, attending the annual multi-sectoral agency consultative committee, which was formed back in 2015 and of course re-established back in 2021 to relook into the issues and challenges affecting this important industry. And we're in the company of great minds, from engineers to architects, and of course everybody is here. I mean, we are having a conversation around how to drive this important sector, what challenges this industry is facing, and what transformation is needed to deepen more integration and more development into this important industry. Guess who is joining me this morning? We are having the Principal Secretary in the State Department for Public Works, Joel Arumonyang. He's here with us. He's going to help us understand why we are here, who else is here, and what is the way forward. Thank you very much indeed, Bwana PS, for joining us here in Mombasa. I first of all want to find out, since 2015 and the re-establishment of the AMSAC in 2021, what would you term as a major achievement of this committee?
Thank you, Brian Kimani. My name is
Arumonyang, Principal Secretary, State Department of Public Works. And here today, 1 year since we met last year, we are here in Mombasa to review the work of multi-sectoral agency committee, a whole of government approach that was established in 2015 and reconstituted in 2022. And yesterday, the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Housing, Public Works and Urban Development was here to open the retreat. And one key issue that this committee promised to address is the challenges of collapse of buildings. And last year, we drew a roadmap to work together in the whole of government approach to ensure that each entity, among the 29 entities who are members to this committee, plays its role. The members of this committee draws from the ministries in the construction sector. Under Public Works, we have National Building Inspectorate, the Board of Registration of Architects and Quantity Surveyors, National Construction Authority. Under Roads, we have Engineers Board of Kenya, the State Department of Roads itself. We have our agencies, the roads agencies, KENHA, KURA, and Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, Ministry of Interior, National Police Service. We also now have National Youth Service, National Disaster Management Unit. Under Labor, we have Directorate of Safety and Health, DOSH, National Environmental Management Authority, among other many agencies that form AMSAC. AMSAC achievements have been seen reduction of building collapses. We are using AMSAC as a proactive means by which the government can be able to deal with the challenges in the construction sector. First, the government effort to re-energize and revitalize regulatory here, and through the Office of the Head of Public Service, the regulatory agencies met, and we have used the opportunity also to strengthen our agencies through the. We are here now to review what has happened over the past 1 year, and also propose measures to address the challenges that we are seeing in the sector. We are happy that down the line this 1 year, we have seen the launch of the building code, which will play a critical role to bring a lot of order in the construction sector. The new building code has been reviewed. We know very well that it was a 1968 code, and now we have a new building code. We are now in the phase of sensitizing, rolling out sensitization, public education across the country, across the counties, and we are also using the multi-sectoral agency, MSAC, to pass the information to wananchi.
And I think also it's also very important to say that, I mean, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, being Kenya's broadcaster, has always been part of this journey.
Exactly, Brian.
Yeah.
We are thankful that KBC has been also a critical and a serious partner in this journey. And thank you for
to hear from you. I mean, when you look at, you know, when MSAC was being formed, I mean, that was the height of, you know, buildings collapsing and killing Kenyans, maiming many other more, and of course, leading to losses of investment. Suffice to say that we have seen a gradual decline in the numbers of buildings that are collapsing, in the number of fatalities, and of course people getting injured in these incidences. What has MSAC done to contribute to this?
I have also the counties and the COG. The Nairobi City County, Kajiado County, Machakos County, Kiambu County are also members of MSAC. And what the MSAC has done is to heighten inspections, encourage entities, regulatory entities to do its work, and through such meetings and also joint inspections, we have been able to gap some of the challenges that we've seen. I can mention one case that happened last year, the collapse of Kahawa in Nairobi, Kahawa building. Yes, it was the work of MSAC that they detected through the county government of Nairobi, that they were alerted and they rushed there, and they were able to evacuate the people very fast, to advise that they leave. And when the building collapsed, nobody was there. We have also done capacity building. We do capacity building through National Building Inspectorate to our counties to ensure that they are also brought on board, and the technical teams there, the county government staff can be able to be proactive in all this. Remember, we are working among communities, and also we want to encourage developers to adhere and comply to the building standards.
I like the fact that you have cited that case of that building in Kahawa Sukari. I mean, you managed to avert a major disaster. You know, that building had more than 200 occupants. And MSAC moved in. People were evacuated 3 days before the building collapsed. And it was like, you know, the house was brought down by a dynamite explosion. I mean, it just collapsed. Since this committee was formed in 2015 and then in 2021, it was done this was done through an executive. There were hopes that this committee was going to be given some legal teeth and some legal background. This has not happened. What is the agenda?
It has not happened, and we are happy. Yesterday this event was graced by our cabinet secretary, who was promised to take the this forward. We know the gazettement is one of the proposals, and we have a robust of legislative proposals that we expect that will come out of this retreat. Alongside what we are proposing on strengthening MSAC, proposing even to gazette or do on any other legal mandate that will strengthen them. It is out of this meeting that we expect such proposals, and we promise that to take forward such. I think it has been a long time, but realizing that gap, we are ready to fill the gap and ensure that we move together in the spirit of whole government approach. But even that, I appreciate the entities that have been able to participate. They have given their best, and we are here to help the country.
I mean, you know, MSAC brings on board more than 10 public, from National Police Service to Engineers Board of Kenya, National Construction Authority, county governments, and sometimes, you know, trying to harness, you know, the synergies of all these institutions, sometimes it becomes hard. Are we looking into a situation whereby in the future MSAC is likely to be transformed into a state agency?
Those are the discussions that we have put on the table, so that this technical team, based on their experience, they can be able to propose the best way. In the meantime, we have also proposed other measures that can help and sort out the challenges by proposing a national system. We know a lot of time is taken to approve projects, both at the counties and even across the departments. And we want to have a one-stop shop through a national e-building approval system. And this we know other counties have already established their systems. We have Nairobi, Kiambu, Mombasa, and others. But the lessons from this can also be shared. And we want a standardized system that can, in form of IFMIS, in the construction sector, that can be able to ensure standardization. All the counties are brought on board. It will be a national system. We are still working on it, and we hope out of this retreat we can be able to have the proposals and then to send to the cabinet for approval. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When MSAC was formed, I mean, almost 90% of all the buildings that were collapsing were in Nairobi, Kiambu, Mombasa, Kajiado, and Machakos. Now, because of the growing trends of industry, it has gone to other counties. We're having buildings collapsing in Kisumu, in Homa Bay, in Migori. You see, these are the new counties being included in this.
Yes. First, we have a country that is really urbanizing. The rate of and Kisumu now is a city. We also have, apart from the metropolitan Kajiado, Machakos, and Kiambu. We know the rate of development, and that is why MSAC, through MSAC activities, through the operations committee of MSAC, they recently visited Kisumu and Nyamira and Kisii. And we've noted the need to ensure that we also improve the capacity, strengthen the capacity of the technical people. We are calling upon counties to ensure that the people employed are technically qualified, that we have qualified architects, registered engineers, registered architects, quantity surveyors, and a technical team that can be able to drive the development of that county. As we speak, we have some gaps whereby counties do not have technically qualified individuals, and as a state department, which is in charge of standards, we will want to work together with counties, work with regulatory agencies, BORACs, EBK, to ensure that this is done. We prevail upon the governors, county public service boards, to ensure, to prioritize the recruitment and the employment of these technical people. At the State Department of Public Works, we have also had a challenge of understaffing, and recently we got our staff establishment that we can now strengthen our feasibility and the officers in the regions and in counties. I'm happy to state that even NCA also, which is supposed to also as a regulator of construction, can also be present in all the 47 counties. And we are, by doing that, we will be able to assist counties, work with the teams in the counties so that they can support development. So in every county, because counties are now becoming centers of development, a good portion of these resources are for infrastructure, and we want value for money. We want to ensure that the government is not put to waste. The buildings that are either by government or private sector are safe, secure, and citizens. New building code, of course, will be heavily implemented at the counties, and this is a regulation that I'm happy that the National Assembly and Senate, and now it is rolled out, has seen it good to have it at this time. Therefore, we are at the sensitization stage. We want to encourage all the players, all the partners, all stakeholders to have a look at the code, find out what is it, all the developers, all professionals, so that this code, they can adhere and comply with the provisions of the code. The code has proposed a number of issues which were not there before, and we find it handy that it will aid the country. So the challenge of the growing counties will be sorted by the technical people, will also be sorted by the leadership in their respective counties by ensuring that they are there to regulate the right people, and shortcuts, the issues of quacks, tending to be professionals will be a thing of the past, and the proposed in the long run, if adopted, will be able to sort out some of the data. That we can say how many engineers are in Kisumu, how many quantity surveyors, how many planners, and even the project registered. And at this point, I also want to the National Construction Authority is mandated to register projects, public and private projects. And all these projects must be registered so that we can have a database. We know who is supervising this project, who is the developer, and who is doing what and what. During issuing of certificate of occupancy, to be just a click of a button, we can be able to know. Yeah.
Very good. I mean, if you're just joining us, you're watching BizCheck, and we're coming to where the annual retreat of the multi-sector agency consultative committee is holding their annual meeting here. It's happening in the construction industry, and we're in the company of the Principal Secretary, Joel Arumonyang, and we're having a conversation around the role of MSAC and what is happening in this critical industry, which is a key driver and enabler of socio-economic development in the Republic of Kenya. I want to hear this. I mean, yesterday, one of the officials, they talked about during their inspection missions, one of the major challenges they are finding is the fact that most of the buildings that are under construction, not only in Nairobi, but in Kiambu, in Machakos, in Kajiado, they lack the requisite documentation, like approvals. They don't have the supervision of expertise, like architects and engineers. And this was flagged as a major challenge, facing this industry. How is your department planning to deal with this crisis?
Yes, it is true. In our inspections, in some instances, we found out that there are projects that are not a project, which also appears in paper, that it has been is there, but find out it is not there. People go for shortcuts. First, I want to call to Kenyans to comply with the laws of the land. Construction industry is regulated by the National Construction Act, by other enabling laws, the physical planning and urban, the fiscal planning, the fiscal land and use land use planning act of 2019 spells out and gives responsibility of development control to counties. Of course, the national, the minister, delegates this authority. And from the lessons learned, we will be able to work together closely and fill the gaps. One of the proposals that we proposed is the e-building approval system. This will standardize this, that we will know this project has been approved. It is supervised by this engineer, architect, and it is at the what stage. So we are learning the lessons, and going forward through the sectoral engagements and other parties, we will be able to, and we have raised also this to the Council of Governors and CECs in charge of construction, so that we can have a robust discussions on this and sort the issue further. The National Building Inspectorate is also, we are also strengthening the National Building Inspectorate. Establishment expanded. We will from 7 people. We have now recruited about 30 now, and the establishment, approved establishment is about 100. And we know it is 10 years down the line, and the legal out of this will also place the directorate or the NBI into where it's supposed to be.
And I like the fact that you have highlighted the challenges facing important institution whose business is to ensure that Kenyans are living and staying in safe, built environment. But you are talking about an institution that was established 10 years ago. It has, inception it was about seven workers. 30 now, 37. With thousands of buildings that are coming up in this country, I mean, how do we need to accelerate the NBI and equipping it with latest and modern equipment? They can deal and they can dispense of the agenda accordingly.
Why we to the multi-sectoral agency approach is that we have under NBI. And the NBI, National Building Inspectorate, we are happy that Public Service Commission has enabled us to recruit more staff, about 30 now, and the numbers will grow going into the future. But we want to harness the experience and also the experience of the multi-sectoral committee in order to revamp this institution. You heard yesterday the Cabinet Secretary also raising the same issues, and we hope it has gotten the right
proper staffing levels for NBI.
Currently 120.
120.
Yeah.
And you have 30
yeah.
now. Yeah. Well, you still have a long way
to go. We still have a long way.
We must appreciate that fact. Let us turn on to the issue of the National Construction Authority. There is growing calls to reform this institution through the amendments of the NCA Act. And I know conversations are going around on how to do this. What is occasioning the calls to relook into the act that established NCA?
The NCA Act 2011 came before the current constitution. It is now 14 years down the line.
The constitution came in 2010.
Came in 2010. You see, if you check critically, then the drafters did not envisage the current architecture. Like, for example, one of the board of directors actually was to represent the local government. And you know that local government is now county councils. Again, of course, 14 years is a long time. There is a lot that has happened in the construction sector, and the construction is both concurrent. It's concurrent function, national government and county. The regulations also is over 10 years, the NCA regulations, and it is due for review. This is an engagement we are embarking on to review the National Construction Act 2011 and also the regulations. And out of that, in our engagement with the IGRTC recently and further engagement with the COG, there has been to be brought on board more of the issues because of the concurrent function. NCA, by all means, has really performed a lot of within the short time, the 10 years, they have been able to do a lot. But there is a lot also that the Kenyans are demanding in terms of even in the evaluation criteria for contractors. We went around the country. They are also reviewing that. They gave their views, and that is a system. That's an engagement that we've had with the public, and the outcome will also come out. Of course, we have Center of Construction Industry Development at Konza, because we must capacity build our contractors. There's a lot of emerging issues in construction. We have now the new code. Our contractors need to be capacity built. We also have technology. Technology is also changing and so on. So there is a lot that we need, and I am happy that the staff established, the HR instruments for NCA has also been reviewed. And they'll also be required to be present in all the regions and in all the counties, so that they can also respond to issues on the ground. And further, we continue strengthening the regulatory mandate and ensure that we work as a team. Currently, after yesterday also, I chaired a meeting with the board, the chairman and the representation of NCA, Borax and EBK, with a view for them to come up with an MOU to ensure that as they work, they can be able to, their systems can speak to each other and assist for efficiency and effectiveness and also joint inspections as they go to, rather than having a checklist for each entity. At the 10, another entity goes to site. At the 2, another one, and tomorrow morning another one. No, we want to have an harmonized inspections.
The other challenge that has been facing the National Construction Authority. I mean, it's suffice to say that every year you have thousands of building approvals that are needed. And NCA is supposed to do this, but it has been facing budget cuts. The other day they appeared before the budget committees, the Budget and Appropriations Committee of the National Assembly, and one of their concern was that they were never allocated any budget to operate with. And I can't remember whether it was in 2018 or 2016, the NCA, the levy, was scrapped, which was the main source of revenue for NCA. To deal with that and to emasculate the authority from financial hiccups, are we looking at the re-establishment of the levy?
First, I want to thank the committee for the initial proposal to cut the budget for NCA was reinstated and for this financial year. But we still see that NCA is inadequately resourced, and we've had an engagement with the National Treasury that NCA can generate its own resources rather than depending on the exchequer. they can generate their own resources, and that is why now we are looking into the levy, because the levy used to fund the NCA operations very well, and also with the increased demand for service delivery, capacity building and training of contractors, there will be need to have these resources to put up the Center of Industry Development and also enable NCA fund its operations. And we are working on this, and already we've, at the departmental level and the ministerial level with the CS, we'll be able to come up with these proposals going forward. Because even during that time, the same time, National Management Authority levy was also scrapped, but they have since returned. So these are regulatory agencies, and we hope this can be, we will look into this.
The realities on the ground is that the construction industry is evolving very fast, and under the new building code 2024, which is supposed to come into force from the 1st of March, which is about 2 weeks from now, we are going to see new changes in the way buildings are designed, the way we take care of our environment, and so this calls for also a relook into the operations and into the architect of NCA. Under the proposed changes into the NCA Act, what specifically do we want to change, and how will that impact the construction industry?
One area, this code will be implemented down at the counties. The counties are also, this code will be implemented down at the counties, and we want to strengthen NCA's presence in all the 47 counties so that they can be able to service delivery can be quicker. We in the new, of course, it will be a product of public participation. There has been need that we introduce, we tighten on the evaluation criteria for contractors, that somebody who is given as NCA 1 should be able to perform. In some instances, there has been complaints that there are people who have this, maybe this, they are given NCA 1 and they are not performing as expected. We expect to relook that in the amendment. And also in the board of directors, and the number of, currently we have about 14, but it's not too big, and to align with the new constitution. Yes.
One of the issues that NC has always grappled with is the fact that, yes, they have the mandate, the legal mandate of inspecting buildings and stopping where they feel that laws have been violated. And if you travel around this country, you see many buildings with the famous X sign on them, with inscriptions of NCA, but you still see, buildings are still being constructed. And NCA has always called for a broadening of its mandate so that it can be given powers to arrest and prosecute. Are we likely to see this once the new act comes into play?
The non-compliance of the culture of not complying with our laws is a culture that we need to change as Kenyans. Even where structures have been put on road reserves, you will still see people doing construction. This is a responsibility, which is not only for NCA, but also respective county governments and agencies. We want to change this culture. And the X mark is becoming a brand for NCA. But this is not, the X mark is just to denote that this building has been corrected, has been erected in a wrong place. You wonder people opposing, saying, why are you putting this X? Yet it is a sign that this is wrong, we need to correct. The review of the law will also help stem some of these problems. But we want to encourage each and every Kenyan and every responsible entity to take its responsibility very well. If development control is the mandate of counties, they must take it seriously. They must take it seriously and also ensure that enforcement is done at the county level. So in the spirit of one government approach, national government working with the government in the spirit of cooperation, mutual respect, and we want to encourage that kind of, so that it is not a blame game.
You have a situation whereby NCA will come to a construction site. They're going to draw the famous X. 3-4 days down the line, the contractor will come back on site with approvals from the local county government. How are you aligning those discrepancies between county and national government?
On, joint inspections, all of government approach, the adoption of the proposed e-building approval system that will enable, this site is approved, this is who is managing it, and so on. I know counties have initiated their systems, but for value for money, to ensure that we have standardization and the entire country digitized, or to adopt a system that is across board, that we cannot leaving nobody behind. We are discussing on this, and we hope that can also sort out such problems. But above all, we want to call for responsibility, that even the responsible entities should be able to take their role seriously. And these shortcuts, cutting corners, corruption, and so on, should not be tolerated at any.
Before I let you go, Bwana PS, I also want to hear from you. I mean, from the presentation that was done yesterday, you have less than 15% of our counties with engineers, architects, and quantity surveyors. Majority of them, they do not have this expertise. Yet they are the same organizations approving buildings and approving drawings. How are you going to work with these counties to ensure that they have the right people in the right places?
One step that we have taken as State Department of Public Works is to ensure that we deploy the staff we have to the regions and the counties. The proximity of this staff within the counties will be able to help even the counties get assistance. As the State Department of Public Works is the consultant for government, and we support MDAs, we support ministries, department agencies, and even counties. A case in point, recently our team have gone to Kitui. They are working with the county government of Kitui and also judiciary. But we are calling upon the regulators, Borax and EBK, to ensure that they also encourage the professionals to work, and we will be working with the county governments. We are already doing an assessment, a baseline survey, to find out how our counties are staffed, how many technical people are there, and what are the gaps. And where the gaps are, we can be able to discuss. But we implore upon our governors, our county governments, to ensure that they employ technical people. Yes, because finally, if we do not do this, Quacks will take over these roles and responsibilities, and we are not ready to accept that. And as a State Department, we are also working with Treasury and to ensure that we get additional budget to employ more people and send to counties.
Bwana PS, thank you very much indeed for joining us today, and of course for sharing with us those insights. But before I let you go, I have a culture of telling people to look into that camera. Tell Kenyans what you are doing to ensure that they are living in safe spaces.
Thank you very much. I want to tell Kenyans that the State Department of Public Works, which is in charge of standards, is ready to support and assure Kenyans that they are living in safe and secure buildings. And that is why today And for the next 4 days, we are here in Mombasa under the multi-sectoral agency committee to discuss emerging issues, challenges, so that with a view to ensuring that we have zero building collapses in the future for this country. Thank you.
Tana. I mean, you have been watching this check, the second hour from Mombasa, where the multi-sectoral agency consultative committee is meeting to deliberate on the changes that are needed and, of course, the reforms that are required in the construction industry. I mean, they're going to be here for the next, how many days? I mean, today is the second day. They are here up to Friday, so 3 days to go. And, of course, we are following closely to see what kind of deliberations are coming up here with, and, of course, the kind of talks that are happening here. O'Brien Kimani is my name. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Kurunzi Mashinani is coming up next. And, of course, we're taking you back to Broadcasting House for the rest of the programming. Thank you.